So today I'm going to be following up on the Microsoft Surface Go 3, and this is the front camera on the Microsoft Surface Go 3. Just to let you know that video conferencing on here is going to be fantastic, or just recording a quick video message to someone or a vlog for your website. This is going to be pretty good for you. So let's kick this thing off and let's get to talking about this great tablet. Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So the Surface Go 3 is a hybrid device that Microsoft put out that some people have really flocked to because it is actually way more useful and universal and more powerful than one could possibly imagine. Coming in at a fairly decent price point, I think you will probably find this a little bit more useful than just your regular tablet. Now, I've actually been using this in a number of different ways. In this video, I just wanted to give you just that little over a month later for real world use. Now, one thing I've tested, when I always test cameras on devices because you'll be on a video conference or something of that nature at one point or another. And the fact that the Surface Go 3 has a kickstand and it has a front and a rear camera, but the front camera is actually performing very well. So I did a sample video of the front camera to intro this particular video, and it's actually beautiful sitting right here in this position. Microphones are crystal clear, and it'll be great for video conferencing if that's what you decide to do. So as far as taking photos with the rear camera on it, it's decent. It's definitely not the best, and I don't think people are buying this for taking photos or video, but in a working situation, the cameras are fantastic. If I needed to take pictures of landscape or just I'm selling something or just whatever my business is, these cameras are actually going to be top notch for you because you're getting an all-in-one in your tablet with the cameras and the kickstand and the entire setup and the power that comes behind it for a workflow. It's going to be better than using your phone. And that is kind of how I would probably tell a person if you're trying to get your business going. I see a lot of people, true example, when I got my back patio built and expanded, the owners of the company were using an iPhone 12 Pro Max, I believe it was, to take all their photos, to do pretty much what their on-the-go workflow. And then at that time, I was using a Surface Duo, and they were blown away by that. I didn't have the Surface Go 3, but the Surface Go 3 to me will be a great replacement for a Surface Duo for work purposes and your typical iPhone that you want to carry around. Now, obviously, the convenience of a phone, it's great. You know, you can just throw it in your pocket. You can do a lot on it. But when it comes down to some serious things to get done, I really can't recommend that you use a phone in general, not to talk about iPhones, just in general. If I'm going to tell a person to use a phone other than a tablet for workflow, it has to be something like the Z Fold 3 or the Z Fold lineup, because those open up into what I consider a nice canvas compared to the Surface Duo, depending on how you're using it for a workflow. Now, I know this probably sounds strange because then Jay, you like the Surface Duo and you said it was a better workhorse than the Z Fold 3. It is technically when you're using two apps, but if you're working on something like landscaping or building, and that example that I gave, I think it would probably be better to use a Z Fold 3 or an actual tablet like the Surface Go 3. The Surface Go 3 has a nice big 10-inch display, beautiful speakers on it, and the colors are really accurate. And if you throw in the pen, you can get even more done. This is a pen by Panovo, and I'll give you a follow-up on this at some point or another. Been using this for over a month now as well, and it's just been great. So workflow on a Surface Go 3 is more than just doing what I just gave the example of for like landscaping companies and things like that. People that are outdoors and you take a lot of photos of things, and it definitely can be used indoors in an office setting as well. Pair up any Bluetooth keyboard that you want, any Bluetooth mouse combination that you have, and you are set, folks, because it has Type-C, and you can use Type-C dongles if you don't have like true Bluetooth wireless devices. You can add a dongle or you can add a hub to your device, and you can take this Surface Go 3 to the next level. I hooked up two 4K monitors. I hooked up one 4K monitor, one curved OLED 144 hertz monitor, a 34-inch widescreen monitor, hooking up some of these things at the same time, along with a camera and an external microphone, and my workflow is great. No overheating. The only thing it took a hit to was the battery, but to solve for that, you just use a Type-C pass-through, or you can use the charger that comes in the box, which I don't recommend. Because it's a special charger. You have to use it for the magnetic connection on there or whatever. But I just use Type-C to charge the Surface Go 3 from this point. I didn't know that it charged through Type-C until my man Will H Tech Reviews, or Will's Gadgets and More, advised me, hey Jay, it does actually charge through Type-C. And I was like, whoa, I'm happy about that, because I did not want to charge with just that particular charger. So workflow in your office, and then unplug everything and take it on the go, you are going to be set to go. No pun intended. The Surface Go 3 is so universal and just so versatile. You can do pretty much anything with it, folks. Now, it does have an app store from Microsoft, and while the games in there actually are pretty good and they play pretty nicely on there, I have the middle ground version. I don't have the highest tier, which at this point is just a processor. So I had some concerns about the Intel processor, the 6000Y or whatever it's called. But folks, it's actually fantastic. So the only thing I would recommend, if you're going to go with the lower spec version and not the Core i3, I would say get the middle ground like I have. Even though this has an SD card slot, internal storage is always going to run faster than, depending on what type of external storage you're using. But an SD card probably won't ever run as fast as an onboard storage on your device. So with that being said, I recommend the model that I have, which is the middle ground 8 gig, 128 gig model. You've got more than enough RAM and you've got enough storage to get you over the hump. So until you want to add an external storage to it. Now, I said earlier that this device has a kickstand to it. That lets you know that this is in fact a premium Surface device. The hinge is absolutely great. You shouldn't have any problems with it. And I think you'll be hard pressed to pass on this device depending on what your workflow is. It does have Windows Hello. So basically you just hold it up to your face and it'll just activate and go straight into the desktop if you need it. So I'm still in S mode. I didn't switch out of S mode. At this point, I've gotten so used to Microsoft Edge browser that I don't really have a need to turn on Chrome or sync everything from Chrome, because when I signed in, it actually pulled everything from one of my other laptops that was synced with Chrome, and now I have everything in Microsoft Edge on my Surface Go 3. So a quick, little over 30-day follow-up, man. This device is off the charts. I think it's totally worth it depending on what you're going to do with it. So if you're just looking for a tablet for media consumption or games, I don't recommend that you go this high. I recommend that you, in price, I recommend that you find just a regular Amazon HD Fire, one of those tablets like that are under $100 for just media consumption. This actually is a workhorse, folks, and it really can get the job done. So I think people kind of overlook this because of the processor, but I'm telling you, you will enjoy the power that's coming from this thing. It's just, everyone's going to find a use case scenario for it. And I have hooked everything up to this little Surface Go 3, and I've put everything onto it and pushed it really hard. So Jay, what is a con for you? What are any cons you might have? Well, there's one. When you push it really hard by plugging in and a lot of externals, you will see a hit in the battery. Now, while it doesn't drain fast, you will see it drain when you start to hook up the bigger monitors, and it'll go down a little bit faster than normal. But for me, battery life is great. It can easily make it to 3 to 5 days depending on what I'm doing on the device. On those days where I'm heavily using it, I can easily go 2 days with it, believe it or not. And I compare my battery life to Will's Gadgets and More. He wasn't getting very good battery life on his. And I'm surprised because I thought, man, mine is flowing right along. But it also depends on what applications you have on your device and your network strength, all these things. I have the Wi-Fi model here. I don't think there's an LTE version, not in this one. I think the LTE models come in the higher spec ones like the Surface X or something like that, or the Surface 8. But this is a Wi-Fi machine, and I have a very nice blanket of Wi-Fi in my house, so my mesh system is on point. So that might be why I'm getting fantastic battery, but I haven't heard too many people complain about it getting very, very, very poor battery. But it is hitting some people like that. So just keep that in mind. When you start to plug up a lot of things to the device, you will see a hit in battery, and you won't get those 5 days, and you'll need to plug it in while you're plugged in. That is what I recommend. So if you're going to plug up a monitor, a mic, a camera, 2 monitors, anything that I've done, make sure you're plugged in to an external power source. And then when you pull it off, you'll just go right back to your normal flow of work, and you should be fine. So it's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yes, I will see you in the next one. Surface Go 3 is a go. Take care.